So I noticed something very interesting, which may lead into some very interesting implications. So I recently did a video about how the lost warlord that we meet in SBS 109, Hanafuda, could actually be the actual father of Ulti in page 1. Now, the funny part about this is that in chapter 1018, entitled Jinbei versus Who's Who, something very interesting happens. The cover request is of Ulti in page 1 reading a book about dinosaurs while they are surrounded by plushies. Each one of these plushies represent a member of the Beast Pirates except for one. So we have a dragon plushie representing Kaido, a brontosaurus plushie representing Queen, a saber-toothed tiger plushie representing the man of the hour Who's Who, a spider plushie representing Black Maria, a triceratops plushie representing Sasaki, a mammoth plushie representing Jack, and a petrodon plushie representing King. However, in the middle, we have a Tyrannosaurus Rex plushie, of which page 1 and Ulti are hugged up against. The problem with this is that there is no Tyrannosaurus fruit in the series, nor does anyone on the Beast Pirates have such an ability. Now, what made me nostalgic about looking this up again is because when I originally read this chapter, I was sure that this ability was going to belong to Yamato. And I even did this whole big model of what she would look like as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'll put that up here and there'll be a video link to the original video. But yeah, that's not the case. But I believe this represents Hanafuda because when you look at what Tyrannosaurus Rex actually means, it means Tyrant Lizard King. So we have Tyrannosaurus, which means Tyrant Lizard, and Rex means King. So you put those words together and you have King of the Tyrant Lizards. Now, when you look back at Hanafuda, what is his epitaph? King of Lizards. Then we look at Hanafuda again. What is his hobby? Finding ancient ZOAN fruits. And looking at his head and the little mark on his head, which is most likely his Jolly Roger, it kind of looks like, even though it's very hard to make out, it kind of looks like a Tyrannosaurus skull. So I think Hanafuda actually, for real, has the dragon fruit model Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's what I think. I think this was a hidden reference all the way back in 1018 that Oda just put there so maybe he could remember for later. That's what I think. And I think this is very convincing evidence, especially seeing as how Hanafuda's actual epitaph is just King of Lizards. That can be attributed to no one else but the Tyrannosaurus Rex. But to return to the cover request, detractors will say that in the cover request of 1018, the plushie between Ulti and page 1 is meant to represent X-Drake. This is not true, however, because by that time, X-Drake had defected. What's also a very interesting note to point out is that X-Drake's design in his hybrid and full Allosaurus forms has changed drastically with more details as opposed to the pre-time skip, because in chapter 944 and in chapter 998, we see that he has spines going down his back through the length of his tail. There is a weird difference, however, because in chapter 944, his spines are more beveled, whereas in chapter 998, the spines are sharp and pointy, and they more so blend into the spikes of his hair, which is very interesting. But I say that to say, if this plushie was meant to represent X-Drake, the plushie too would have spines running through the length of its tail and on its head as well, but it doesn't. But just to clear the air, the reason for the spines in X-Drake's dinosaur forms isn't because of any traits of him. The reason why the dinosaur has spines is because of the nature of the dinosaur. Allosauruses in many artistic depictions, like say in Jurassic Park, are depicted with spines going down their backs, and they have these weird spiny protrusions growing out of their heads. So the spines are inherent to the dinosaur itself. Therefore, a plushie depiction of that dinosaur should have those spines. But here, the dinosaur does not have those spines. And again, this chapter comes way after the artistic corrections have been made to both of X-Drake's dinosaur forms. So that leads me to think that this is something totally different outside of any other dinosaur-powered character that we have seen up to this point. The only thing I could kind of see representing X-Drake in this whole cover request might be the dinosaur that's on the book, but I'm not really at liberty to say. So with that being said, I do believe that the plushie in between page 1 and Ulti is meant to represent their father, who I have said in a previous video is Hanafuda, with the power of the dragon fruit model Tyrannosaurus Rex. With that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. What's it?